use 40% of the world's energy. As we all know, when a building uses energy, it also generates an energy bill. If you're an office tenant and you're getting large energy bills, then you may want to know more about the NABERS rating scheme. It's a scheme that measures the energy efficiency, water usage, waste management, and indoor environment quality of a building or tenancy. It then gives buildings a star rating based on how efficiently it performs. So, how does it work? How could it save you money? And why are companies getting their buildings NABERS rating? So, joining me to discuss that are David Palin from Mirvac and Carlos Flores from NABERS. David and Carlos, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Carlos, if I can start with you. You're running the NABERS scheme. For people watching now who haven't heard of NABERS, what is it and how does it work?
John, NABERS is a government sustainability program for commercial buildings. We are a little bit like the star rating that you see when you buy a fridge or a TV, but for buildings. So what we're trying to do is to explain to people how efficiently their buildings are operating, how sustainable they are, and how do they compare to similar buildings in the city. And we work specifically with offices, shopping centers, hotels, and data centers.
And am I right in thinking that if you had more stars, so you have, it's a bit like the fridges that you were talking about, if you had more stars, you're going to save more money on things like energy?
Absolutely. Much like a fridge, if you buy a fridge with a high star rating, it will save you money. A building with a high NABERS rating will also save you money, you and your tenants, and also to the building owner. I think the economic benefits go beyond that. Buildings that have very high NABERS energy rating are also very well managed buildings, well run buildings that provide a really good, healthy environment, good working conditions, which obviously has very good consequences on the staff and productivity and how happy and healthy they are as well.
Yeah, I've certainly heard that. Now, David, the best rating you can get with NABERS is the 6-star energy rating. There's only 3 buildings in the country that have got it. Mirvac have got 2 of them. Why did you go for a 6-star rating, and what drove you to do that?
Partly we just wanted to prove it could be done. We wanted to demonstrate that these, whilst they're huge challenges, it can be done. And we wanted to save energy, save the environment, and save money. To do it, it's really a huge team effort. And that's what it really requires. So it requires a huge operational focus from the facility and the property management teams, really strong connections with your tenants, with your service providing partners, and also a lot of courage from the investment, the owners of the building, to invest in energy efficiency initiatives. So that's what it really takes to achieve.
Now, Carlos, let's have a look at it. We kind of generally get what the fridge energy rating stars mean, but can you explain what's the difference, say, between a 3-star NABERS rated building and a 6-star one? How does that work? What's the differences?
Absolutely. So 3 stars really means average, right? So let's just go at the beginning of the scale. If your building receives a rating of 1 or 2 stars, it means that you're using a lot more energy than an average building. They're a really similar building, right? So it means there's a lot of scope for improvement over time. If you're on the other side of the scale, 5 or 6 stars means that you're doing really well. And I think what's important to keep in mind is that this is a journey. Many of the buildings that join the program don't start in 6 stars, they start around 1, 2, or 3. And the positive thing about this is that many of them improve significantly over the years. And even the 2 buildings from Mirvac, 6 stars, top of the line, the best buildings in the country, they weren't always 6 stars. So even they have to work very hard to get them there. So that's the important message. It doesn't matter where you are, there's always a lot of scope for improvement.
David, across your whole office portfolio, you've now got to a 5-star rating. What drove you to go to that point, and what is the benefit from Mirvac in doing that?
What really drove us was the environmental benefits, but obviously that's the obvious piece around carbon reduction. But really, it makes great business sense. If you've got a building like Bay Centre, which is the latest one to achieve the 6-star NABERS rating, we reduced the energy use by about 50%, which has returned a $200,000 a year saving in energy. If you can save that kind of energy cost or outgoings cost for tenants, you can attract better tenants, more tenants, you can retain tenants. That impacts your return on investment of the building, the valuation of the building. And indeed, there's actually independent research which shows that buildings with higher NABERS ratings have better returns on investment.
Now, Carlos, Mirvac are a big building. They can afford to do this. In what way is this scheme relevant to smaller companies?
I think it's important. It's relevant to both major corporations and also smaller businesses. We do probably most of our program is actually with smaller companies. What's important to keep in mind is that NABERS is really a gateway to a lot of other supporting programs around the country, both at all levels of government. They're trying to see buildings, how well you're doing, and improving over time. And there's a lot of financial assistance, a lot of technical assistance in many programs across the country. So we want to work with you regardless of whether you're a big business or small.
From a Mirvac perspective, this scheme, the NABERS scheme, has worked very well across the commercial property sector. From your point of view, why do you think it's worked so well, and where do you see it heading in the future?
It's worked so well because it's given us an operational tool that provides a common language. So we're all using it, it's all getting the same rating. So it's a common language. And I think it's made it really easy. So 1 to 6 stars, 1 not so great, target-rich environment, 6 stars fantastic, market-leading performance. And you can actually transfer that knowledge to tenants really easily. Tenants understand it, they understand the impact on outgoings, and that's why it's become such a universal tool in the industry.
From your point of view, Carlos, how can people find out more about the NABERS scheme? Is there kind of information available that people can download and read?
Absolutely, there's lots of information out there. The best place to go is our website, that is nabers.gov.au, NABERS, where you can find information about the program, what supporting schemes are out there to help you out, but also things like a self-rating calculator, where you can put a little bit of information about your building and get a rough idea of where you're sitting compared to other buildings in your city. You can also follow us on social media, on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
And if I'm the owner of a building, let's say 3 stars, and I want to push it up to say 5 star, what kind of changes would I need to make that happen?
I think there are many things that you can do. To go from 3 stars to 5 stars, you really need to reduce in the region of 40 to 50% of energy. So you're talking about for simple things from upgrades to lighting to more complex things to changing a little bit your air conditioning, fine tuning. There's many things that you can do, and I think the main message that I will put in is that there are many simple things you can do that don't require a lot of money, that don't require your tenants moving out, and that every building can do. Those things are going to be different from building to building, but there are many things that are not very expensive that would pay themselves in a few months.
Final question to you, David, and quickly, I'm afraid we're short on time. You've set some very ambitious sustainability goals at Mirvac by 2030. What's the business benefit to your bottom line from doing that?
It's a huge driver in terms of innovation, and I think that's where we've seen the real benefit. It's driven innovation, innovative thinking. We've even come up with different business units now to do renewables and roll out renewables across the portfolio. So that's been the real driver behind it, is stimulating that creativity, as well as all the environmental benefits.
And you get the business benefit to the bottom line with lots of savings too, so...
Hugely. I mean, right now we're saving about $7 million a year in energy costs, and that's only going to increase over the next 14 years to 2030.
That'll keep your accountant happy. David, Carlos, thank you very much for joining us. It's a great skill. Thank you. Well, that was Smart Money for this week. Thanks for watching.